Hello Cancer, it's so good to see you. Welcome to your November 2022 reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look together at the next 6 to 8 weeks. My goal, as always, is to basically empower you and give you a sneak peek of the energies, the opportunities, possibly some of the challenges, so that you can make the best decisions possible. All right? If you're brand new, a couple of quick facts about how I organize everything. We'll begin with channeled messages, and that's basically me connecting to my spirit guides and my dream messages. And a lot of times what I see in my dreams is totems, and I will use those totems just like tarot cards to bring forth messages. So we'll start with those pieces first, and then we'll get into the Celtic Cross. And the Celtic Cross for me isn't simply focused on love or career. I throw out all the cards and we see what the general energy wants to show us. Then we'll focus on health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And that gives you a nice all-encompassing view of what's coming through. Those are the first two parts. You see there's a lot more, but we'll get into that as we get a little bit closer to those other sections. Before I begin, please hit that like and subscribe. Leave a comment as well. Not only does the engagement help, but if you want to stay in touch with me, subscribing and hitting the bell icon will ensure that you don't miss a video. So thanks in advance for all the folks that have done that. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on all of these here that you can see here, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. And basically every single day I'll put a daily card pull. I call it the 1 minute 1 card reading, and it's a great way to kind of get a pulse on what's coming through. And remember, it's always my full name on the major platforms. Twitter, I use Ashbaugh. But if anybody ever reaches out to you, I like to remind folks of this. I don't offer private readings and I don't use direct messages. So you can ignore those sorts of requests and let me know as well. So follow me if you'd like. I hope to see you on other platforms as well. If you'd like to show some love and support here in real time, it's optional, but it does help. You can use basically this icon right here and join if you'd like to, or give a super chat or super sticker, or even gift a membership. So I'd like to say thanks in advance for anybody that's done that. All right. Let's get into your channeled messages for today. Today, I had one of my favorite totems come through in dreams, the wolf. And let's go ahead and pull up the presentation here. I also saw as a secondary totem the source of a river, or the beginning of a river, and we'll talk about that as well. But first things first, I want to get into the wolf, and we'll discuss how this is going to affect you this month. Again, it's just like tarot cards. I look at totems and break them down for you here. All right, when I think of wolves, I think of complex and important. Hey, buddy. Speaking of wolves, we got Apollo in the background here. I think of social structures. I was going to say complex and sort of close-knit social structures. So the card to me that came through was the 10 of Cups. For some of you, this could indicate family, friends, and maybe some of you that have a really close connection with your coworkers. But it's the people that know you the best and the people that you spend the time with the most. In this particular totem here, I did a little research. The packs are small. It's like as small as 2 and maybe up to 10 or 15. So that's why I'm looking at the closest sort of connections in your life. So 10 of Cups is the card that I would connect with this. You may decide to spend more time and energy and mixing and mingling with all these friends and family, or for those of you that are trying to kind of like make a breakthrough in your professional career, it's a really good time to focus on networking. And when we look at the cards here in just a few moments, we'll also pay attention to what's going on with relationships. If you've been in a relationship for a while, maybe dated someone for a year or two, this could also be a chance to deepen it. If you've been married for a while, we might also be looking at what the next area of growth or movement will be. And in general, it just looks like we want to focus today a little bit on love and relationships. So I will do that. When the totems or the cards indicate that that's going to be a focal point, I'll definitely give it some energy here. So we'll look at love and we'll look at family and relationships today. And by the way, I put here like strengthening. So some of you might be actually looking at how to improve, how to rebound after a difficult relationship, etc. So we'll make sure that we cover that as well. Oftentimes we think of just like the howling wolf, but when I was doing research this morning, one thing that I saw here is that wolves can basically have a lot of different types of vocalizations. They can howl, they can growl, whine, whimper, yelp, snarl, and bark. A lot of different types of communication. Also, that communication can be heard from quite a distance. The howling can actually be heard from up to 10 miles away. So powerful communication opportunities this month. That's one thing that comes through. They also remind us to communicate with intention. It's not just noise. It might sound like noise to us, but for the appropriate audience, another wolf, they can pick up on the different sort of context or intonation. To me, and I actually chose a page intentionally here. I always choose my cards, but I chose a page over the queen or the king because I like what the page does in this particular illustration. Notice how he or she is looking over their shoulder. They're kind of checking, did I get that right? Or did I miss something? There's this consciousness that communication is not just about saying what's on your mind. And if you're listening to someone, it's not about like jumping to what you want to say next. It's about really actively making sure that you're picking up on their communication and also that they've heard what you have to say. So we're checking and balancing out that communication and ensuring that no context was lost, and active listening is going to be a big part of that. And then I put in here like to also make sure that you're not just talking to make noise. No, small talk has a place, especially if you're like in a service job, you want to just be friendly and amicable. But with the core relationships, the 10 of Cups ones that we were just talking about, let's get past the surface and go a little deeper. And sometimes you have to ask 2 or 3 times, no, seriously, what's going on, or how are you doing, before you can get that serious answer. So really connect with someone, make sure that they feel listened to, and make sure that also your message is getting across to them. Listen intently and actively, clarify others' intentions and context, and that's going to save you a lot of time this month. I like pages because sometimes they get overlooked in tarot, but they are mediums. They are the go-between, but they also represent, for those of us that are mediums, the ability to connect to spirit. So really listen to your higher self and listen to your guides. They have messages for you as well. It's all about listening this month, and I could also put that in the title. All right, the next piece here is how much a wolf changes through its life. At birth, they barely can fend for themselves. They can't really hear that well. They can't see that well. Their sense of smell isn't very good. But then once they are an adult, all these things sort of shift, especially the smell. It's 100 times that of a human. During this period of time, you are being asked to change rapidly and move into sort of areas of your life that you may not have before. Maybe some of this is on your own. Maybe some of this could be the coupling energy that we got with that 10 of Cups. Either way, try not to initially sort of have a knee-jerk reaction and reject a change or panic when a change comes through, because believe it or not, you're actually far more capable of thriving and doing well in this period of change if you just allow yourself to go with it, okay? And really, we're paying attention to the nose here, but I would say if something feels right, or you can kind of like sniff out a good opportunity or not. If you don't like the way that it feels, don't go for it. If you do, then go for it. Just trust your intuition here. There's a big window opening up for you, and you'll know if it's the right thing or not. Okay. The next thing here, as we kind of dig a little deeper into one of the previous things that I talked about, the 10 of Cups, there's also a very serious hierarchy. It's not just the fact that they travel in a pack. There's specific roles. This tight social structure benefits them in some ways because they get to share the duties of hunting, raising the young, and also defending the territory. But it also means that there's competition for leadership. Sometimes the head of the pack, there's going to be a little bit of a battle to see who can be leading. But once all the roles have been hammered out, there's not a lot of room for you to kind of push into a different area. So any of you that have worked in a company where it's just really regimented, or it's, maybe it's top heavy and there's a lot of gatekeepers, that, this can be a pivotal turning point where you think, I need more, I need to breathe, I need to be able to express myself, explore new things, and be able to stand up and say what's on my mind. So some of you might be really pushed into an entrepreneurial or freeing sort of path. Some of you may like that. You really want structure, you want organization. So you get to decide whether it's a structure or it's a limit. And that's going to be an important piece for each of you to kind of sort out this month. But the energy of the Hierophant definitely came through as something to consider here. Okay. And our final and the most important card, I think, today is not the wolf. It was about the headwater, or the source of a river. And what I liked about it is it basically summed up what an ace is in tarot. Big things can start very small. So we think of something like the Mississippi or the Nile. They have beginnings that are very humble, streams and underground springs. And ultimately, because we're looking at water here, it's the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups can be a desire, a passion. It can be love. It can be something that just makes you excited to wake up in the morning and put your energy into something. Your passion or belief is something that is going to allow other people to vibe off of it, and you have to see it and feel it first. So this is a little bit of a gut and reality check for some of you to make sure that you are connected, that you do feel it, that this is what you want. It's also a reminder that, you know, pain is one type of teacher, disappointment, setback, but so is joy, so is happiness, and so is love. And I think one thing that Spirit wants to come through and say is it doesn't have to happen all at once, but what if this month is the beginning? It's a page turner, and it's saying, let's begin and let's start to tell a new story, one that allows us to feel this sense of passion and joy and happiness, and give yourself permission to feel it. There's nothing wrong with being happy, and sometimes having fun. I think that we underestimate the importance of just letting our heart sing. Okay? Just like the wolves singing, we need to allow our heart to do the same. So you have some beautiful messages today, I have to say, overall, and I really loved the totems and the sort of lessons that they had to teach us today. Okay? Again, if you just joined, we're going to step into the Celtic Cross next, and I'm going to use a new deck today. It's one that we'll see how it works. It's probably going to be a little shiny, but I'm going to give it a shot here. So this is the Mystical Moments, and let's go ahead now and take a look at the energy for the next 6 to 8 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and pull the desk down. Here we go, or the camera to the desk, rather. And let's take a look at the cards and the messages. Welcome, everyone, by the way. It's good to see you. Yeah, we may have some challenges with the light here, so let me see here what I can do. Some of it may just be about the placement. Yeah. I think it'll be worth it. We're just going to move with it, and I'll make sure that I pull all the cards up. So a little bit of glare today. That's my only complaint on these cards, but they're gorgeous. So just the center cards with a little bit of glare. All right. Some confirmation with respect to health, with romance and connection. Definitely seeing the family structures playing a role. Big movement and changes as well. Got a volunteer for this. All right, let's take a look at all these gorgeous cards and messages. Let me zoom out just a little bit. There we go. Okay, we'll begin with your catalyst today, which is the mask. And for me, this is also kind of like a revelation. It's an unmasking. And we see that sometimes we're afraid to look into the unknown. So we kind of cover things up, or we put a sort of nice dressing on something. And this is actually asking you to go within and look at the places, the shadow work on some levels. Look at your fears, look at your anxieties. You don't have to put on a happy face. And it's hard sometimes, right? Especially when you are a healer, especially when you are in a position where maybe other people depend on you. If you're a mom, dad, teacher, nurse, therapist, anyone in any sort of career where people just expect you to completely have it together. It's okay, by the way, if you have a day where you don't have it together. And we know when we looked at the message from the wolf, there's the pack. Reach out to someone that you feel like you could be vulnerable or be honest with, and just let that part of yourself be. Because that's going to help you maintain the integrity of your leadership and also just who you are. It's good to deal with the drama, the trauma, the shadow energy. That way, it can teach us, it can heal us, and it doesn't then control us. So this is really just an encouragement for many of you to remove the mask and be authentic and heal the shadow or heal the pain. And then you don't need the mask. Just be yourself. You're beautiful as you are. All the pieces, the shiny, happy stuff, and then the stuff that is a little bit messier. And that's really what this is, okay? The other thing for some of you is it could be a revelation. So when I look at this card, I think of Seven of Swords, I think of the Devil, which came through, and Five of Swords, and the Moon. I think of cards that on surface look like one thing, and then once you get to dig a little deeper, or you get to know someone in real life a little bit more, then you start to see other pieces. So you could see that something isn't all that it was kind of cracked up to be. It could be a relationship, it could be a contract. As we look at the cards here, we'll figure it out. But this is a month to be honest. The way that I deal with energy like Seven of Swords, Five of Swords, Devil, and the Moon is to just bring into the light whatever needs to be said or done. And, you know, I recently had this with a doctor, actually, where they weren't listening to me. And I found a second specialist, and it was immediately better, like night and day. But I had to tell the first doctor while, you know, I was leaving and going somewhere else. And I just said, you know, it's really important for you. You didn't listen to me like 3 times. And they understood and actually said they were sorry, and it worked out. And it wasn't like a confrontation, but I needed to let them know why and let them know that there was an issue, that it was complicated because they didn't listen to me. And then I felt good, and then I moved on, and it was easy. So sometimes we just have to stand up and say, this isn't right, or my voice matters. And, you know, this is especially true when it comes to your health. You know your body the best. And if you find someone that doesn't listen to what you're feeling, find someone else, okay? Because sometimes people are trying to put the mask back on you or cover something up. And always trust yourself, always be authentic, always speak the truth. And that's going to help you through this. All right, let's take a look at the cards again. Again, apologies for the little bit of glare that's going on here. It's partly, I mean, these are very glossy cards. They're beautiful, but I would say too much of a high gloss on this. All right. I love this Eight of Cups. And when I was thinking of the source of the river, this was one of the cards that I was thinking of featuring. I ultimately did the Ace of Cups because it was about beginnings. But I like the Eight of Cups because it reminds us of the importance of getting some space in our life. So Eight of Cups isn't just about second chances or starting and stopping things. It's about saying, I need to get away from this for a second so that I know what I want, who I am, and what's kind of affecting me here in the environment. So if you're in a really difficult relationship and you've been helping that person out a lot, and maybe it's been contentious, maybe there's a lot of sort of back and forth energy, and you're tired, you need to figure out, is this still something I want to connect to, or is it not? And you need to basically just be on your own. Same thing can happen with a stressful job. You may wonder, am I burned out, or am I just tired of the job? So the Eight of Cups is basically saying sleep on it. Get some space. Clear your head. Because we always see the person walking towards the energy of expansion. I love the deck by Rachel True, True Heart Intuitive, because we see the energy of Jupiter on the horizon. But this is the same. We see someone walking towards an unknown path or an opportunity, and they need to give themselves the opportunity to explore. So you may not be ready to close a door, but you definitely want to open up another one and see what's happening there. Or you need to, again, get the distance and space so that the clarity and the understanding can come to you. So that's the main message that I see. As I said earlier, I also connect this card with second chances, luck on this particular deck because we have the ladybug, luck and transformation because we have the butterflies and we have the dragonflies, and then we have a lot of couples here. So that's interesting too. If you've been looking at a second chance in love, this is almost exclusively coupled. So we have one single person walking past all these couples, but your perfect match, or maybe you're just exploring that relationship with yourself, whatever it is, you're going to find it. You're on the right path. That's basically what this is saying. Don't compare yourself to friends, family, and other people. What works for them, that's their curriculum on this planet. That's their soul path. That may not be yours, okay? But yeah, this is a chance to do something differently or do it again and experience a sort of different outcome. So good luck with that. We'll look at the cards as we go through this and see if there's any other messages around that, specifically deep past in a moment. But let's look at what's crossing this. We do have love. We have the Queen of Cups, very Venus type of energy here. It reminds me of like that, the Venus with the seashells and all of that. This one's kind of interesting because we have a seahorse. Seahorse is one of my favorite totems as well, because as a divine masculine energy, it basically kind of has a little bit of both divine masculine and feminine, because I believe, I'll look it up later today, but I believe that it carry, like the male seahorses carry the babies, which is kind of cool. And so what we're seeing here is a blending of divine masculine and feminine. So roles that were once clear cut no longer are. And so, maybe, and this can also indicate familial lines blurring. So, and maybe people vicariously living through you. So mom or dad may be pushing out what they want or expect from you, whether it's like having a family or having a certain type of job or being at a certain point at a certain age. These are all blurry things from your family and ancestral sort of energies that you don't need to worry about anymore. You get to do whatever you want. You get to paint with every color in the palette. And that's what this card says most importantly. You can be what you want to be. You can express yourself however you want to. And again, it's both divine masculine and feminine, because we have the Queen of Cups and then we have the seahorse there, which is the divine masculine there. So you can do whatever you want right now. It's heart-centric because we've got cups. And it is sort of like a couple, but what I like about this is we don't have the king. It is saying you're enough. You're enough for yourself. For those of you that are single and happy, or you're divorced or you're widowed, and you're just done with focusing on relationships for the time being, that's fine. You are showing up as more than enough. But if you are wondering, can I connect with someone else? You've already opened it up. You're actually at that point where you will pull someone in because of the unconditional love that you're putting into your heart. And for those of you that are frustrated by the lack of someone coming in, really focus on self-love, acceptance, and self-worth. That's going to be the key to pulling in the seahorse in your life, okay? Let's take a look at the cards here and see the deep past. So this is, to me, what's really connecting to this. So the Eight of Cups, for some of you, is expression, self-expression, blurring the lines, love. But for many of you, as we look at the deep past, the second chance is a change of fortune, changing things around so that you feel like you're on top of things this time, that you're the one that is pulling all the cogs and wheels, that you are not beholden to other people's, sort of like decisions and expectations, as I said before. I see the Wheel of Fortune as almost invariably positive. When it's reversed, however, it does indicate a need to change focus. And for many of you, like I said, you might have grown long in the tooth or a little tired or a little exasperated with a particular course in your life. So might be what you've been studying, might be what you've been doing for a 9-to-5 job. There could be something else where you just feel like there's got to be something more. I need to feel more. It's not just about money. It's not just about title. It's not just about what people think about who you are and what you do. It's the inner clockwork, which is what is so beautifully illustrated here. What makes you tick? This is what this card is really asking you. And by that, to kind of like dissect that sort of like way of speaking, what makes you tick, to me, that is what makes you happy, what makes you passionate, what makes you feel inspired, what gets your wheels turning in the morning. That's where the focus should be. And that's what the center card is really, there's a story here, a return to what really makes you passionate. And that's connected to this very Venusian Queen of Cups here as well. So we have a return, separation from a present path. Then we have this beautiful connection to the divine masculine and feminine and the heart. And then we have connecting all of that to something that maybe you can make a living at it, like finding a way to work your passion or live your passion. And knowing that, again, it isn't just the cash or the title, it's the heart. That's something that I had to go through, now it's been a while, 2015, but that was a big decision for me. I'm so grateful that at the time when my mom was still alive, she was super supportive. My dad had already passed, but he had already kind of gotten an idea that I was going to quit, and he was supportive too. I didn't need it, but it was nice to have. Never once did she think that I couldn't do it or try to talk me out of quitting my corporate job. She was like, you got to do it, whatever makes you happy. Plus, I was an adult, and she was an adult. Like, at a certain point, you don't need to tell people what to do. So I was so grateful of that. So if you don't have that kind of frank energy with parent or guardian, I'm giving you it right now. I'm going to say, if you know yourself and if you've done the homework and you're ready to kind of take a new, like turn a new page, a new leaf in your life, go for it. Just do the homework. That's one thing that I did. I definitely planned it all out. I had all my ducks in a row. I knew how much it would cost. I basically got everything prepared so that there was minimal risk. And it was just a matter of then, like, what am I afraid of? I know what it takes and I'm ready. So get your homework, do all the stuff, be prepared. And then once you've done it, what are you waiting for? You know, it's more of a rhetorical question. All right, so let's take a look here at recent past. So we have love coming through. Let me see if there's any other cups here. I'm just taking a quick look. No, there's a lot of people. I will say that. We're looking at Page of Cups, a Queen of Cups. Let's see, Page of Pentacles, King of Swords. Even the Devil can be another person. So what I was talking about with the pack is definitely something that we could focus on here, which is a lot of roles have been defined. A lot of things have already been sorted out. But you are always capable of going in your own direction. So if you're in a family or a job or a social kind of like community type organization where it feels like you have to do this because all these other roles have been taken, you don't have to do this. The environment is actually where the devil energy came through here. And so that's what's kind of trapping you or holding you. You can choose a different path. So that's one thing that I'm picking up on. It came here in the cards as predetermined roles and people already sort of positioned in all these spaces. So if you're feeling this sense of I need to expand, I need to explore, the cards are saying go for it. All right. Page of Cups. As I said earlier, pages are most powerful when they listen. Page of Cups needs to listen to its heart. And so that's the main message coming through here as well. Very gentle energy with this Page of Cups. Piscean energy, because we see her looking at the little fish coming out of this cup, which is something that I would see in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card as well. So maybe you, for the first time in a while, awakened to, again, what makes you tick. And maybe something in your life brought it back to the forefront, because I don't know why we kind of end up, it's like we're almost like zombies sometimes. We go into a particular phase of our life and we just show up and we kind of clock in, clock out, and we kind of go into a haze. And what I see for many of you is something struck you out of that, woke you up. So it could have been a really positive energy, an opportunity landed in your lap because, by the way, a Page of Cups is good news coming in. It's really positive news, something that makes your heart sing. But it could also be something where you wax nostalgic and you think of someone that you loved. So maybe you saw a movie on television that you remember watching as a kid, or you went into your closet, you were cleaning things out and an old book from childhood came through. Or, you know, a memory on your phone or on Facebook or some other social media platform jumped out and you're like, oh, yeah, that. What am I doing about that? So there's this little awakening or stirring for many of you, because I'm looking at the tea here and it is like stirring that, you know, stirring the pot of tea a little bit. So something is internally stirring you to action, and listen to it, because better to listen to it when it's in the page energy than when it's like the tower or something. So you have a chance now to follow your heart or listen to your heart, and it's going to connect you to opportunities, love and partnership. Definitely seeing that this month, by the way. So if you're single and looking, we'll get into that in a few minutes. But I see absolutely possibility for love here. The Page and the Queen are kind of interesting if they are partners, because there's a big sort of energetic gap there. Better a Page and a Queen than a Page and a King. But one thing to remember is that if you're in the role of the Page rather than the Queen, you have so much to offer. This could just be like experiential gaps. So let's say maybe someone in your life that you love and you're interested in, they've just been through a lot, or they've lived a lot in a short amount of time. There doesn't have to always be like an age gap. It could just be maturity or experience. but you still have something to bring to that equation. And vice versa. Let's say you're the experienced one and there's just someone that has a youthful, joyful energy. That can also be a nice foil or balance for you because it helps you get out of your headspace. So remember, if you're finding an attraction and there's a partnership coming through, there's still something beautiful. It wouldn't happen otherwise. So never underestimate your ability to be perfectly paired with somebody. Sometimes we worry about, is this person out of my league or am I out of their league? That's not what this is about. There's just this gentle love that is coming through and this stirring that we see as well. All right, let's focus on your crowning card. What a cool illustration. I really do like this deck, despite the glossy cards here. We have the Three of Wands here, and it reminds me, what is it, Rapunzel, right? With all the hair coming down. So this Three of Wands is one of the most unique ones that I think I've seen. What I like about it is active, and I like an active Three of Wands. So we see her holding the ship. Can't get much more active than that. There's another deck, Lightseers, which I like a lot. And in the Lightseers deck, we see someone with a surfboard ready to go out into the ocean. So I like that too, because it's basically saying I'm either going to interact with the energy, or in this one, she's lifting it up and saying, this is what I want. She's not waiting for it to come to her. She's sometimes maybe even casting it out there. So what does this mean for you? The Three of Wands says what you want, it's here. And she's saying it's ripe for the picking. Because this is almost to me like picking a low-hanging fruit. So if you are ready right now, I feel like you could reach out and create something, connect with something, make it happen in a very exciting way and in a very immediate sort of way. So I look at this as a quarter of the year, the next 3 months, next 3 weeks even. And for those of you that are masters at manifesting, you could see it this week, 3. And I'm not looking past that. It's like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, pretty darn fast. And usually Three of Wands means it's already around you. So you could start to see results in that period of time when you start to look at it from a different angle and you start to pick up on those opportunities. Okay? What happens sometimes with the Three of Wands is we're looking, I won't say in the wrong direction, but we're focusing in an area where the activity isn't happening. You could still make something happen over there, but if you look here or if you look there, you might see that it's easier. There's an easier path or a more abundant path. And what this reminds me of is if we go back to our cards or the channel messages that I pulled earlier, the reason that I intentionally chose the page for you was I liked that it was looking over its shoulder. So let's pull that up one more time. So that sort of consideration, oh, did I miss something? Oh, wait a second, what was this about? Definitely making sure that you're tuning in and not missing, I'm not gonna say something obvious, but just something that's right in front of you, okay? So it's gonna be a lot easier than you think to manifest, and you are the mover, the shaker, the doer, and don't be afraid to say, this is what we should do and this is why. You know best, especially if you're the artist, especially if you're the creator. So if you have, we talked about hierarchy. For some of you, this could be a manager, like a creative manager or just business management in general that, like a lot of times we hear this with like recording labels that want to choose certain singles, but the artist knows what's best. But unless they're independently releasing their work, they don't have a big say in that because there's a lot of wheels behind the promotion, right? So for some of you, really advocate for what it is that you want because you do have a clear indication that this is the best move professionally or emotionally or creatively. Okay, so I'm encouraging you to be bold and to really embrace that energy. Ultimately, that's just a great card to have in the head, the crowning position rather. Now we have the Page of Pentacles here. And so we have 2 pages. Some of you, this is family dynamics as well. So the queen can be the mom, and we have sibling rivalry here coming through. But let's look at the page just as an aspect of your personality. I love Page of Pentacles. This is an offer in money, in work, or in opportunity. This is also you being able to ask for something or get something when it comes to more resources. Let's say you've not been receiving enough of something. You're overworked. You're underappreciated, or you're interested in doing something and you're tossing your hat in for consideration. The Page of Pentacles is very good for that. So do it, go for it. This is a great time to sort of like reach out and also be open to receive. One thing that I like to do in manifestation exercises with, when I'm just doing it for myself is open up to immediacy with it. I'm open to love and abundance in the highest forms now, and beyond my furthest dreams or expectations. All of this are greater now, right now, so that the universe knows that you're not, because otherwise if you say soon, cosmically, like you think of the Big Bang and how long light travels and all this stuff, like the universe, cosmically speaking, time takes a long time, like things take time. So let the universe know that you're very much in this Three of Wands energy. I'm open to see the best opportunity in this moment in time. Show it to me. I'm open to receive the best thing that's available to me right now. Show me where I should be focusing. So put a little bit more immediacy into your manifestation and it can happen faster. It's not neediness. It's just basically saying, no, I'm really ready. I've done the work. Let's do this, right? Let's get the wheels turning. And the wheels are turning in your favor. It's a change of fortune and a different outcome this time because you're perceiving and you're approaching things differently. I really love what we're looking at here in your, as you're showing up here, because it's saying, I am done with accepting less than enough. So with the Five of Pentacles in the upright position, it would indicate self-confidence and self-worth issues. When it's reversed, it's saying, I no longer am going to accept less than what I deserve. And that's what really what this Eight of Cups was. This is a change. You're going to do something different this time. You're going to see it from a different perspective. Let me just take my picture out for a second. You're removing the mask. And here's what's making you successful this time. You know what makes you tick here. You know what makes your heart sing. You're willing to step away from something if it doesn't suit you. You can do this with a sense of passion, but not like with the emotion overwhelming the other person. And you're saying, this is what I want, and this is why. And they're going to listen this time. Also, you're not afraid to lean on someone. Let me pull the traditional Five of Pentacles for a second, and we'll talk about it because it helps to see that one as well. But in the Five of Pentacles, while I'm grabbing it, the main thing that I always notice is that help is there, but not always tapped into. And the big thing that I've been really talking about a lot today is listening to yourself, listening to others, making sure that they listen to you. I feel like, Cancer, you've actually done the work to pick up on that stuff. And if people around you don't listen, you're sort of at this space where you say, like, enough is enough. So here's your traditional Five of Pentacles. And what we see is two people here, neither of them engaged. So they both need help. Together they could help each other, but they're not engaged in doing that. Behind them we see a place of shelter, and they're not stepping into that either. So there are at least two forms of assistance together, and then something higher and something, you know, right behind them as well. So with this card, it's illustrated a little differently. We see someone caged in or kind of like constrained. When this is reversed, we actually see the rose or the peony or the flower, whatever this is, upright. So this is your chance to push through the glass ceiling, and either the person is going to acquiesce and say, yes, you're right, you deserve this, or you're going to break out, break free, and do something that really is worthy of your time and energy and your gift, okay? So I see you breaking through an old trauma or drama from the past, because the Five of Pentacles typically comes through from childhood, and we see a child and parent on this card. It doesn't have to be from your parent. It can be another member of your family or a teacher or just something that you didn't get as a kid, and it's coming through now, but you're realizing now as this... what I like with this card is we're also realizing you're everything. So sometimes when we see a card where you have divine masculine and feminine, or we see mother and child, it's saying, I'm all of this. I'm mother, father, child, you know, brother, sister. We all have all that energy within. So you can do this with or without that approval or the support that you didn't get in the past, okay? Because everything else that I'm looking at today is an opening, with exception to the devil card. And this is a really cool devil. Because it doesn't look like the devil. And I think that some of the best devil cards are showing a devil in an appealing sense. The Lightseer's deck shows a really handsome man. We see a beautiful woman here, but we also see that she is the spider and she's weaving the webs. So what she's representing here, and she also has like the fruit there, there's a temptation, there's something that's appealing, but you know that it's not for you. And this could be, for some of you, like a contract, someone that's trying to get you to agree to something or sign something. It could also be just going down an old path that you've done this before. So you're going to go in a different direction. You're going to step away from that. Recently, again, I actually got this card when I was looking at that doctor for myself. And what I realized with this is also someone that's rigid, because the devil doesn't like change and doesn't like growth. And so sometimes when you're meeting with a professional, a teacher, a doctor, a counselor, and you get devil energy, it's someone that's closed off. They're not open to growth and kind of like exchanging thoughts and energies. So for many of you, I think that you're ready to move past all of that. And you see the net and you see the web and you're like, nah, I'm not going to fall into that. This is also saying stay out of other people's problems. That's a lesson that really takes a while to learn, right? It's so easy sometimes as an intuitive to see how something could work out better for someone. And there's sort of this inclination to just want to help them, fix them, whatever. And one thing that I've definitely learned as I've gotten older is let people come to you. And unless they're asking for your help, it's none of my business to tell them what to do, because I really don't want them telling me what to do unless that's part of what we're talking about. So check in and see if that's really going to be a good use of your time and energy. I think in some situations, if a person isn't ready to receive, then what you can end up doing is having like this tug of war or this resentment from them that you're getting into their business. So focus on you. You do you. You're going to do it a lot better than trying to fix someone else or get them to change their mind. And step away from someone who won't see you, embrace you, or listen to you. That's the other thing that the devil represents, is someone that's not listening. They're focusing on their own needs, what's best for them, and they're definitely not actively listening, okay? So you'll be able to recognize that in your life. For those of you where this represents work, it's saying you're stuck, right? Because we've got the webs here and we've got the spider. You're stuck and there's no way to kind of like make that work. Same thing for certain social interactions, right, Apollo? He's saying you just got to dig your way out, find something new, and I agree. All right, so I think we've covered everything there. It can also indicate a Capricorn in your life, of course. But the way this card is illustrated, I really do think that whatever energy is coming in and you're not sure of, you want to sort of really let that be. And that's that. Let's go ahead and focus on hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have movement. So here's the good news, Cancer. You are moving past this. So the Devil and the Five of Pentacles, this is a lesson from the past as well. This is what you're already moving past. And again, when you look at it here, you can see it from a distance. The flower's in the right position. It's not growing into the ground. It's not trapped in the cage. This is something that you're going to recognize from a mile away, and it's all about moving on right now. So the Six of Swords is healing, it's travel, it's transition, it's mourning, but it's very positive. And we see here this beautiful sort of island, finally finding a space that feels just right for you. And I think that this journey is totally going to be worth it. Whatever you've been through, it might have been challenging. You may still be in this energy thinking, how am I going to get out of this, or when is this going to end? So what we get here with a sort of indicator of time, I would say about a month and a half for some of you this current period, or it could be the better part of a week, depending again on how quickly you manifest, but sooner rather than later. And the Six of Swords is showing that you're on to better shores. I love how the star is coming down on this particular illustration, and it's saying, you know, remember to reach for what it was that you originally were trying to do. Don't get lost in the thicket. Don't get sort of stuck in someone else's trauma, drama, or issues. Focus again on what you need to do. And this is a call to listen to your heart and your higher self. Might be a time where you're looking at taking a trip, either by yourself or with a loved one. Could be a chance for you to let go of something for sure. And release and mourning takes time, but most of these cards today are pretty positive. There were only a couple of triggered cards, and ultimately it ends with a really empowered card in your outcome, which is the King of Swords. This is a unique King of Swords here because we see the bird coming through, and we're looking at the eye of the bird as well. So some of you are getting a better view of a situation. You're able to see it from both sides, from the bird's eye perspective, and you're going to also be able to really use your communication skills to elevate things. And King of Swords is one of the best cards with respect to communication. It's telling me that, you've absolutely got this. All you have to do right now is to be direct, to take action, and to seize this opportunity. It's nicely aligned with your crowning card. So this is where your head should be. You should be focusing on opportunity. This is where your immediate action should be, which is asking for or offering whatever it is that you want to put out there. And then this is the swift action that happens. What you're going to avoid is this. The Devil, and we're going to look at this one more time and then we'll go into the expanded. So these two cards tell a story. So the Devil here is the restriction, the belief from the past. And the Five of Pentacles is the fear that what if I ask for this and I don't get it? Well, what if you ask for it and you do get it? Sometimes we're more afraid of that. I actually think you have a good shot of receiving what it is that you want. And this is really a chance for you to release the fear of rejection, the sort of self-perpetuating or self-fulfilling energy that I'm not enough, or this won't work, or it's not right to ask for more. You do need to balance out the scales here. So anything in your life where you don't feel like you're on equal footing, it's time to shift that, to find your balance. And let me just repeat it, you are worth it. Okay, that's a nice segue to help us get into the expanded forecast, where we're going to take a look at the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each one of these is multi-part. I always like to disclaim when we're looking at the energy of health that I'm helping you look at opportunities with energy and basically windows that are opening up. If there's anything going on in your body or your emotional sort of state, obviously you'll work with the appropriate doctor, but I'm trying to find things that can help you live a happier and healthier life energetically. With that being said, let's take a look at the Oracle card here coming through for your health, and we have romance and connection. It's really saying the important thing to focus on are the core relationships with friends, with family, with the lover in your life, and we want to make those healthier. So if there's anything that feels like it's not right, this is the time to heal it. And, I mentioned at the beginning that the first thing that I picked up on was 10 of Cups. So this is mother, father, sister, brother, or lover. It's the closest connection that you have in your life, or a best friend. Whoever that role is, whoever you think, I love this person and I think of them the most, I text them every day. This is where we're going to focus on healing it. The interesting thing here is, for some of you, you see someone in a path where they're not doing what they need to be doing. And again, as an intuitive, you can see the appropriate path there. I think one thing for those of you that are watching someone that is either on a path where it's a little bit self-destructive or it's just not ideal, just let them know that you're there for them. Let them know that you've been through something before, and keep the door open, because the Eight of Cups at the center can also indicate that, just saying the door is always open. I'm always here if you're ready to talk about this. I know you've got a lot going on in your life. So I just wanted to put that out there one more time. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to lecture, and you don't have to keep going there. They'll remember that. And when they're ready, they will step through that shelter, that door. But they have to see it, and they have to see the worth internally first for that to happen. The other thing here is we're just looking at what's going to make you happy this month, and it's focusing a little bit more on those core relationships. So maybe you have prioritized money, work, or other aspects of your life more than that, and this particular month it's coming through as something that's going to help you out. Let's look at some of the additional cards here and see other messages on how to live a healthier life, energetically speaking. So you can break a cycle. This can be an ancestral cycle of like bad luck with something, or it could be sort of like a cycle that you control. So we have here a relationship or an emotional card. So it could be like depression, or it could be relationship status, and there's something familial or ancestrally that you just don't like about that. And this is going to be a change for the better away from this. This is also saying that you have to be ready, because the Devil comes through. Actually, all cards in tarot are coming through to help you. There's no bad card. There are messages that require a little bit more emotional work and a little harder to see. But the Devil comes through to say, you're limited here. Do you want to keep doing that? I'm happy to take. But it's basically, I look at it as just saying, hey, I'm just showing up and showing you what you're doing. So there could be something where you're aware that this isn't the best thing. But the good news with the Eight of Cups at the center is you can walk away from it. Literally, that's what's on this. This is saying, I'm done with it. And she's saying, are you sure? And you say, yes, I'm sure. I know what I am. I know what I need. And then you move on with this energy and you take some action. So if there's anything in your life where you didn't like the way it's making you feel, or you felt like you couldn't do it before, I think you've got a clean slate this time, as long as you, mind, body, and spirit, say, I am done with this now, okay? Other energies coming through. Work-life balance, maybe the amount of energy you're putting in work is too much and it's not worth it. So some of you want to step out of that. There could be a relationship where someone is not being truthful. The mask and the devil go hand in hand, as I talked about earlier. So if you see something or someone that you don't like, there's a lot of fishes in the sea here, a lot of fish, I should say, in the sea. So you don't have to settle for this at all. Let me see what else is coming through. Honestly, there are 2 travel cards here. A change of environment could really help, especially if this is the environment. So moving out, moving on, or just traveling and getting your head on straight is definitely something that I see here. And you will get, this is like clarity. You're up in the air here with the King of Swords. So you'll definitely get that fresh perspective if you're willing and ready to do that. That's about it. I think overall everything's good. This is the only other thing here with the Five of Pentacles. It has to do with lower extremities. And if we take a look at the original card here, a reminder that it can be things like circulation or healing. Good news, by the way, I moved from a cast to a boot, so that's a good step on my own healing. So you want to take care of yourself. When that also comes through, it's saying don't multitask or get distracted. So if you're walking your dog or just taking a walk and you're looking at your phone, don't do that. If you're in a hurry, slow down. Nothing is worth the delay that an injury causes. It's better to be 5 minutes late. This is the interesting thing. At the whole end of our lives anyway, when we're in soul review, we're never going to beat ourselves up for a delay of 5 or 10 minutes because we were being safe, because we wanted to say goodbye to our family, because we wanted to walk the dog one more time or something like that. Take your time, it's worth it. Get breakfast, get enough sleep, stop, and put the phone in your pocket. Be very present, because again, it's not worth the injury that could happen if you rush. Okay? And that's what I'm picking up on with that. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good. And this is being able to move beyond addiction or temptation, because we had the devil followed by the opportunity of the Six of Swords. So if something has vexed you, this is the time to say goodbye. All right, let's move on from health to your wealth card. I was excited when I saw this. We have Horus, the cosmic gateway here. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are happening. And it kind of reminds me of the Stargate series there, right? So this is in wealth, which means that you are able to take this big leap. This is kind of, to me, a combination. If we mashed up like 3 cards, it would be the Death card, the Wheel of Fortune, and you got the Wheel of Fortune, by the way. So it's the Death card, the Wheel of Fortune, and the World, right? Because it's expansion, a change of fortune, and also this ability to change, because you have to step into the energy of change and rebirth. So my question for you is, are you ready for any one of those 3 things? Some of you may decide, this is the month that I'm going to share something with the world. I'm going to publish it, I'm going to distribute it, I'm going to sell it, etc. Some of you may decide, I'm done with this relationship, with this job, with this habit, and I'm going to walk through the portal of change, of death, symbolically, of course. And then the next thing here for some of you is, what did I say? It was death. It was the Wheel of Fortune reverse, as we got for you. And you're going to say, I'm going to focus on something different. I'm going to throw my energy into something where, look, her heart is actually what's controlling all of this. Time is going to follow the passion here. She's changing what the focus is. So that's your opportunity now, is to listen to this, to start to move things and allow for all of that to kind of fall into place. And you can make a big change or big movement. Let's look at all the cards one more time and see if there's some additional messages with respect to your wealth. So one more thing. When we talk about wealth, for those of you that are a student, it can be what you're investing your time and energy in, and if you're on the right path. If you're working mid-career, midlife, this is also about, like, is this the right path? And if you're retired, it's looking at other things that you want to spend your energy in. So we're just looking at resources as expenditure and patterns, and everybody can benefit from this wealth card. the main thing that I see here is this is limiting. The Five of Pentacles, it is in the right position. We want to see it reversed, but it's still coming through as a representation of you. So again, looking at the traditional card here, we really don't want to go into that limiting energy anymore. There's a lot of opportunities availing themselves to you. You're worth more already. I see the Wheel of Fortune. So this is not a true indication of your worth. It's more something that has been pushed on you from society or experiences from the past, and you're done with that now. You have a higher view and a higher understanding of who you are and what's possible. So I like that. I feel like it is time for some of you to get out of something. So you might have entered into something, it felt like it was okay, and then you're like, nah, this really isn't what I want to do. This happens in jobs, this happens in relationships. Why does it happen? Because they don't tell us everything. And sometimes we have to figure it out on our own, And even when you are intuitive, you're only going to see so much at the beginning. It will all come out in the wash later. You're going to see it much later, but don't beat yourself up if you couldn't see it all up front. Because a lot of times when we have to go through a difficult experience, we learn something from that. Again, maybe to slow down, to ask more questions, to take your time. Because when we rush, when we allow our emotions to step in and blur our lenses, then that's when the devil energy comes through. So take your time, sleep on it, ask the questions, and really make sure that this is the right thing for you in this moment in time. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else that we need to look at with that. I think that's it. All right, so let's look at some of the other cards here. If you're looking for a new opportunity, don't limit yourself by geographical borders. This is really about looking beyond where you live. People are interested in what you have to say, and this could be, it's not just about public speaking. It could be writing something down, getting something published as well. Like for those of you that are scientists or in medicine, this can be putting it in a journal, but there's something nice about the way you present something that this is connected with the Wheel of Fortune. They want to know from your perspective, what would you do or how would you handle this? And then ultimately you have a team here coming through. And this is also saying the key to success for those of you, especially if you're entrepreneurial, you don't have to do everything. We have the Queen at the center, but then we have no less than 2 other pages, and then we have a King of Swords here as well. So I see, and it was all about pack energy earlier too. So if you want to launch something or do something, talk to people that you trust, talk to mentors that you trust, and maybe you could form a small group or company as well. I'm seeing a great team energy and great team effort. You're not stuck. This definitely is an illusion because everything else is moving towards that expansive energy. So the sooner you kind of decide what the change is or what the focus is, the faster you can get into this energy of manifestation, the sooner people want to invest in whatever it is that you want to offer. So I see a change on the horizon. If you want to find a new job, again, 3 weeks, 3 months, it's pretty fast. It looks like you can find something new, but it requires travel or it requires relocation. That's what I'm picking up on. Overall, I like what I see, and I see a lot of creative energy as well coming through. So for those of you that have felt like there's another part of me that needs to come out, this creative or expressive side, that's also there. Oops. This is also, sorry, Apollo. This is also a card of connecting to the other side. So for those of you that want to do more spiritual work, that definitely is a part of that as well. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. And we have X marks the spot. See love in disguise. Ooh, there's so much synchronicity with all these different decks today. So let's look at the card upright for a second. It's just beautiful. We can see the people kind of here, and they're in this cosmic wave, or even almost like a cave here. But what's cool is they're connected to higher source, the star energy basically. And again, it says, see the love in disguise. The card was reversed, and it's kind of like an unmasking, if you will. So this is the disguise, this is the disguise. Somebody may be afraid in your life to show their true self, show their true side. One thing that you can work on is making people feel comfortable and feel safe. And it can start off by just saying, I'm so happy that you're here. I want you to know that, I love you unconditionally. And there's nothing that you could say that would change that. That's really important if you're a parent and you're you might sense that your child is bullied, or they need to say something, or they need to express something about themselves. Just let them know that you love them unconditionally. Younger kids especially need to hear that, but it helps as an adult to hear that from friends and from your partner. Just say, I think the world of you. There's really nothing that you could say that would change that. And put that out there. Some people need to hear that, okay? And maybe you need to hear too that you are worth unconditional love from others. And if you're not receiving that, then put that out to the universe and say, I'm ready to receive that. Show me where it's hiding, because I'm ready to receive love that is unconditional. I'm tired of the strings. I'm tired of the cobwebs. I'm tired of all of the sort of things that go with the devil card, which would be, I would love you more if you could do this, or if you were just more like this person, why can't you be more like your sister? Whatever. Those sorts of things we have to be careful of, because it really is putting conditions on acceptance. But ultimately what I see here is, with X marks the spot reversed and the 3 of Wands in your crowning position, it looks like someone really exciting could be entering into your life. They could be a conduit for career advancement. They could be love. It could be a new friend, but it's someone special, and it's someone that you're not looking for. So try to keep an open mind on how love and relationships could show up, because they have some surprises in store for you, for sure. Let's look at this in 3 different perspectives. For those of you in love, looking for love, or single and happy. All right, if you're already in love, here's the interesting thing. There are some challenges. The devil in the environment is less problematic than if it were in the center or somewhere else. It shows to me a third party, and it looks to me like this person is on the outside looking in. They're trying to get you involved or wrapped up in their stuff. This can be an in-law, like a mother or father-in-law. It can also be a coworker or a friend, but they are someone that has access to the 2 of you. So what you want to do is really focus on proper limits and boundaries. So if it is an in-law and they are stepping in and saying more than they need to, you want to remind them that you love them and that you appreciate the feedback, but you didn't ask for it. And there may be some things that they don't have the right to talk about. And once you have the core family of you and your partner, that takes priority over in-laws, which may be overstepping boundaries, because you've chosen to create a family together. And you want to hold your family on equal status with the other family and say, if you love us, you'll make room for us. You'll meet us halfway. There may be a meeting halfway, but it's not either or. And the devil is very much either or. So you can offer a compromise, but you don't have to accept that sort of energy. And if someone's overdoing or overreaching, just say, stop, please. Okay, so firm boundaries and knowing when enough is enough. This could also be temptation. We have to look at it at face value. So there could be an ex coming back in the picture. There could be someone. There could also just be the question of commitment. So sometimes when you've been in a relationship for a while, it's just the question of, is this where I want to be? Is this everything that I thought it would be? So one or both of you could be having some of that sort of fear or doubt. It does seem to me to be triggered by something that's going on in the environment. So maybe you're comparing yourself to someone else and thinking, is this enough? How do I stack up? What will people think of this? And then you're connecting that to the relationship. But if we take that out of the picture, the other thing that this can be is addiction, or something really difficult that the partner's dealing with. So let's say everything's hunky-dory in the relationship because most of the cards look pretty good. What could be going on is a very difficult thing that you can't help them with. So there could be someone in their family that's dealing with a terminal illness. There could be, a loss of property or a loss of life or something of that nature, where it's just sort of like all you can do, and I say all in the underestimated sort of thing, but you just hold space and you're present for them. You don't have to fix it. I've talked about this in the Weekend Collective, and I think in the reading preceding that, just say, I love you and I'm here for you. What can I do? How can I help you? And maybe it's, they'll help you kind of figure out what that is. You don't have to fix it. You just have to be there. The other things that I'm seeing here, a lot of energy on work. Distance is kind of like, this can be both of you traveling. 8 of Cups and 6 of Swords, 2 travel cards. What's cool though is like finances are taking off. Feels like both of you are getting into a very confident state. if we look at these heightened versions here, the Queen and the King of Swords, one of you very sensitive, this is you obviously, but the other person could be very outspoken, a little bit less, they're not wearing their heart in their sleeves. So I want to say not cold, but a little distant. So focusing on trying to understand the way the two of you communicate and finding a middle ground is going to be key. Here's the good news. Even though we have a challenge in the environment, this is great, and this is great. So where your head's at, you're able to, and where my face is at right there, you're able to take the mask off and say, I see you, and I also see you in my future. The 3 and the 2 of Wands are about really building something beautiful, even after this 4 of Wands. So everything here is, I like what I see. Page of Pentacles is saying, I see you, I love you, and this is what I want for our future. And this is moving in the right direction, all of this. So you just have a little challenge and it's a hiccup, but everything here is leading in the right direction. So as I said with this, sometimes we just have to stare that sort of scary thing head on, and we're able to deal with it together, okay? So that's the main message for relationships, current relationships. If you're single and looking, the main thing that you need to do is fix the environment. Work, your living situation, your financial situation, because this can be issues with finances. So firm up anything that you like. If you have to pay off debts, if you have to ask for more so that you have enough and you're not stretched too thin, if there's anything going on with your health that isn't what you want it to be, all of these things should be sorted out so that the person is coming in a really clear, clean, energetic, sort of receptive state. Once that happens, the only thing that I'm seeing here in all of these cards is almost too many options. You also might be dating someone where there are children. The 2 pages can be children. They can also be just people around you that are really wanting to kind of pipe up and say what they think with this. So I see more than one person, and maybe some of you are in a complicated relationship where there is, I mean, we have the devil here. So there could be someone that is not completely single or unattached just yet. So we could have someone that's in the process of a divorce, or both of you might be sort of on a rebound energy, so you just want to give yourself time to heal. That being said, I do see a really nice partner coming through. We do like King of Swords. They know what they want. They're able to say that. They're usually very self-sufficient. It all looks pretty good there. So just make sure that you've got your life together, because I see a few areas of opportunity. Personal health, personal finance, and then environmental things that may not be making you happy or healthy. Once those things are sorted out, then the love energy comes through pretty quickly. All right, let's focus now on those of you that are single and happy. I see a lot of development and changing going on here. So we see a change of working situation or financial situation. It's a change for the better. The Page of Pentacles replacing the Wheel of Fortune and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So you see your worth, you're ready and willing to put it out there, and we see rapid growth once that happens. Again, just like I said with those that are single and looking, cleaning up the environment, letting go of any habits or addictions, and anybody in your life that tends to hold you down. You don't have room for an anchor anymore, because you are the star. You are a star on the rise, which is kind of cool here. And I think right now, if you're ready and willing, like I said, rapid change, rapid movement. We talked about that earlier. All you have to do is kind of put it out to the universe and say, this is what I want. I'm ready to receive it now. Let's do this. And once the universe sees that you're truly ready and that you could do it right here, right now, you're going to see that kind of shift happen for you. Okay. I still see a lot of people in this spread, so it's going to be important to navigate all those sort of hierarchies like that we talked about with the wolf. But you get to call the shots if you want to this month. This is a very empowered not final card, but outcome card. Okay. Let's move on from relationships and let's take a look at destiny. The Destiny card is beautiful. We have Stand Your Ground, which is a very empowered card. And we have the mountains here, seeing the reflection of the mountains in the water as well. A lot of energy around reflection of, what's real versus what's being projected. So for many of you, this is a chance for you to say, I see you, or I see this, and this isn't going to work, or this is what I want. Just say it and be very clear with that. And again, I use the example of just finding a new doctor. I ultimately finally had the equivalent of fire, but I'm like, this isn't going to work. I found someone else. And there was no drama. They said, okay. And the new doctor was very receptive. And so stand your ground. Maybe you need a new banker. Maybe you need a new advisor. Maybe a different doctor. Maybe you're going to quit your job. And maybe you're going to talk to someone in your life that isn't listening to you. The devil energy is someone that has cotton in their ears. And you have to say, no, we need to discuss this. And this is what's going to happen. And you're going to be empowered in that. The King of Swords doesn't mince words and doesn't argue. King of Swords reverse, perhaps. King of Swords upright, nope, just says it. This is what's going on, and this is what I've discovered, and this is what I want. In a very nice, calm, neutral, but very authoritative way as well. So that's your power this month, is to stand your ground. We look at the mountain sometimes and we're worried. It seems insurmountable, but it's not. Stand tall like the mountain, be firm like a rock, and basically realize that you're at the top of the mountain. You don't have to worry about climbing it. Once you know what you want, you just say it, and then all of a sudden it's like you're up there in faster than light speed, right? Like you transport, like the old Star Trek, right? So that's the message that I'm receiving there. Let's take a look at your big idea. The big idea is one card that helps us understand how all of this ties together. The catalyst is how we stay on the right track. So there was a revelation energy with the mask. But with all this other stuff, let's see what you can do to really make the most of this period of time. We got the World card. Fantastic. All right. So the World card here, beautiful illustration. It was reversed, but let's take a look at this really quickly. So what I like about this is it shows that you are the center of your world. Sometimes we put someone else in that role. It could be a love interest, it could be a teacher, it could be some sort of object or goal, and we're like, that's my world. And it's really saying, no, the world is within. The Two of Wands reminds us of that. You hold the world in your hand, and you basically create and kind of manifest your own sort of reality. So with this card in reverse, it's saying the universe right now has some tricks up its sleeve and some surprises for you. Your world may be turned upside down or inside out, and at the moment or that time you might think, but wait, I thought I had everything figured out. It's okay. This is going to be a period where what you thought was important may fall away, and something that you didn't expect that you would want to connect to, you suddenly feel very, very attached to or very, very interested in. So the big idea this month is that the change, although it seems overwhelming, is going to be better than expected, and there's something new, there's something better on the horizon for whatever might fall away. Let's move on to the blessing and the block for this period of time as well. Self-explanatory, we're looking at something to really embrace and something that may present some challenges. Your blessing is the Hierophant. Nice connection to the channeled messages. And your block is the Seven of Swords, a card that often comes up with blocks, so that makes sense. Let's go ahead and talk about them one by one. All right, so for the blessing, I told you in the channel messages that the Hierophant could kind of cut either way. For some of you, you're going to really love the organization that's coming through. Some of you may also wish that you could just break away. Let's look at that card one more time, just in case some of you joined late and didn't get a chance to see it at the beginning. I mentioned that, when we were looking at the Totem of Wolves, that they are very structure-based. They like a very hierarchical sort of family unit. And I said, there's positives with this, like sharing of duties, but it's also something where you could feel like you want more independence, like it can kind of suffocate you, because there's gatekeepers and there's expectations with this. So what you're going to decide right now is, does this structure serve my highest good? We have the sort of totem here for Athena, right? The owl, wisdom. You already know. Basically what we see here is you already know. You don't need someone to tell you what to do. And that's actually what I love with newer versions of the Hierophant, where it's just the key, or it's a bird holding the key, or the keys within. The person is maybe validating something that you already know, but if it doesn't resonate, or if it's just a repeat of what you know, that's permission for you to move on and to do your own thing. If you're still learning, then just as we see in the traditional Hierophant card, then maybe you're going to benefit from this and the structure is going to be good. So the blessing this month is you have the choice to accept the structure or reject it. The choice is the blessing. The structure is just the backdrop. That's all the Hierophant is. It's just saying this structure can help you if you need it, but if you don't need it, you've learned from it, you've incorporated it, you have the key. The block is that some people in your life are not ready or willing to show up the way you need them to. These cards are definitely cousins. I would say the third cousin's the Five of Swords. 5 and 7 typically work together. The Devil's in the picture sometimes, so is the Moon. These cards are family members. So the 7 of Swords, what we see someone coming through right now is that it's self-serving motive, so it's definitely connected to that devil energy. Look at all of these eggs. It's representing tons and tons of abundance, right? With this person, like, when is enough enough? I feel like someone in your life is willing to take and take. They have a hard time giving. And for many of you, that's where you see them falling short. You know, they'll be the first one to come to a party and accept your time and energy and gifts. But when it comes to if you need help with a move or if you need support when your life isn't going the way you want, they're fair weather friends. So take a look at that and say, you know what, enough now. And ultimately for you, it can also just be the universe saying, be honest with yourself. And the 7 of Swords on its lightest and cleanest is just saying, I want to do it, but I'm not ready yet, so I'm not going to commit because I don't want to make a commitment that I can't keep. So only make commitments you can keep and you'll avoid the block. Only engage with people that follow through and are accountable. And then for yourself, be honest and transparent. All these things will transmute the devil in the 7 of Swords. And for some of you, just walking away from a structure that doesn't suit you may help you do all of the above. Okay? So normally we do a viewer's choice. When I do a live premiere, I do a reader's choice. So looking at the cards today, let's see if there's a couple of reader's choices. I definitely want to look at the energy of the devil. That makes a lot of sense here. And I remember at the beginning saying I wanted to look at family dynamics or love dynamics. So we're going to look at those two energies. So let's go ahead now and pull two cards, one for the devil and one for the sort of 10 of Cups that I picked up on when I was looking at channeled messages. All right, so devil clarified is the 6 of Wands, and the pack mentality or the 10 of Cups clarified is the King of Wands. So let's see how all of this is going to factor out for you. So this illustration is actually quite beautiful here. For the devil reversed, we're clarifying it. We have the 6 of Wands reversed. Let's take a look at it upright. We see a woman that is sort of baiting this beautiful hummingbird with a flower. And to me, this is such a cool illustration for what 6 of Wands reversed is. And it's basically not doing what's right, but doing what's popular, or trying to guess what the masses want rather than tuning in and saying, this is what's right, this is how I feel, this is the impact that I want to make on the world. And hopefully by doing that, you strike a chord with other people who sense that authenticity, that passion, and also get excited about the potential to make a positive change. That creates lasting success rather than a splash in the bucket. And also something that people can see through. So what we see here is you being, or chasing possibly, someone in your life wanting you to chase success. Do what's right, especially when it's not popular. And that's hard, but that's basically the way to kind of transmute the devil. It's also saying, I'm not going to succumb to peer pressure. I'm okay without getting all of the validation that is nice to have, but not necessary to have. So if you make a really important shift in your life and your friends, your family, or your coworkers think you're crazy, but you know that you're right, it's okay. Eventually things will kind of like shake out in the right place, especially once the dust is settled, once they see that you're happy, healthy, and you can sustain, it's fine. So the beginnings are always a little bit challenging when you make a change happen, but this is ultimately success. Don't worry about success. It's already in the cards here. The main thing that you want to focus on is doing what's right, what's sustainable, what's going to be also supporting of your energy, okay? So that's how we can avoid the energy of the devil. When we're looking at the energy of a pack or a family or the close-knit group around you, you're the leader. Don't follow the leader, be the leader, is what we see here. And people are looking for the bold energy that we see with this King of Wands. He marches to the beat of his own drum. He's carrying the drum, and he's being as bold as possible. The ultimate boss card, basically. And I just pulled that yesterday, and so it's kind of cool to see it come up for you. So you are the leader of the pack if you want to be, and even if you're not, you have this bold leadership that I keep getting this sense of wanting to kind of break from the pack or do your own thing. So however that shakes out for you, I definitely just want to reiterate that you are strong, you are powerful, and you have something really substantial to offer. So have fun with that leadership. Paint with a bold stroke, like I said when I was looking at the Queen of Wands, even more so with the King of Wands. He can do anything that he sets his mind to, and he's just as in touch with the magic and that sort of rebirth energy with the Queen of Wands as I said earlier in the reading yesterday. Okay, so really great cards with respect to those two readers' choices. So let's now move into Sun, Rising, and Moon messages, where we're going to dig a little bit deeper into these areas of the chart. I said earlier you can use this for any aspect of your chart, including Venus, but I do like to look at these in depth because they're the areas that I also like to focus on too. All right, let's pull the cards, and then we'll talk about each and every one of these aspects for you. Sun, Rising, and Moon. Big changes coming for the Moon. All right, let's go ahead and break it down. For the Sun sign, we have 9 of Pentacles. This is fantastic. When we're looking at money or abundance or wealth, you can get the 10 of Pentacles or the Wheel of Fortune. You already got the Wheel of Fortune, but 9 of Pentacles is fantastic because it is sustaining, self-sustaining. It is something where you're having more than enough, and it also shows comfort. So I actually feel like some of you are either taking comfort in what you have, or you realize that you're on the path to getting what you need, and you're also willing to share if you need to. There's more than enough, and that's one of the keys with the 9 of Pentacles. You have this abundance. We see her with this sort of horn of plenty, or this cornucopia on her head. And so I just feel like this is a really exciting period for you. You have moved past this 5 of Pentacles, and you are definitely entering into this understanding that I am worth it. Something magical happens when you're able to negotiate, whether it's like negotiating a contract for a house or a job, or just getting in or out of a situation. You're like, all I had to do was say it. All I had to do was advocate. All I had to do was stand up and stand my ground. And that's definitely one of the messages that came through this month. So if you can stand your ground, if you're not afraid to ask for what you're worth, and you're willing to take your time, she never rushes. It's interesting, we got a snail for the next one, but there's always a snail in the traditional card. So take your time, don't rush. Success rarely happens overnight. Most overnight successes actually have been working at something for 10 years. It just seems like it's a rapid, or meteoric rise. For those that actually do work many, many, many years to get to that point, it's something that usually lasts longer because they knew what it was like without success, they know what it's like with success, and they don't squander it. So take your time. You're exactly where you need to be, and you're headed towards that energy of 9 of Pentacles. The only thing with 9 of Pentacles that I always like to remind folks of is to be open, to ask for more or to receive a little bit more, because you're close to the final piece, but it's a very stubborn and independent card. So there's always room for a little bit of openness and letting someone else do something or delegating a bit. Okay, let's move on to Rising messages. So we have the Chariot card, and this is such an unusual. It reminds me of, for those of you that watch Neverending Story, there's a fast snail in that particular movie. But with this, again, everything in its own time, and you can't rush sometimes the wheel of change or fortune or progress. And I feel like you're right on the precipice of something amazing happening. So all you have to do is control your reaction, because this is a control card. So we have 2 messages with the way this was illustrated. Time may go slower, or the reaction that you want may go a little slower, but your control is basically of how you react to that. And also maybe like reaching in a different direction. If things have slowed down to a halt, then what you can do is control whether or not you want to continue going on this path. So if you're on a highway and there's a lot of traffic, you may go off and take the surface streets. If you're going to take a flight and it's delayed, or you don't like how many hours it's going to take, you may decide, you know what, I'm going to go over here, I'll do a layover, I'll spend a day or 2 in this city, country, or province, and then I'll go back to the final destination. I'm going to take a side trip. So for some of you, there's this deviation from the course that may be equally as rewarding. So the delay that's coming through is to help you see a new passage, maybe meet someone different or discover something different along the way. And then if we just remove this unique visual, the Chariot is also saying, I am in control. There are things in my life that I can control. The things that you can't, release them. Release the focus on them and say, all right, that's out of control, but I can do this. Find where your empowerment is, put your focus on that. It's going to make you a lot happier. Ultimately, in your rising and ascendant, people are looking at you for leadership this month, because this is a leadership. It may not be the top card like the King of Wands, even though that still came through for all of you when I was looking at a pack. So don't underestimate your ability. People want to give you a test right now, and you're going to pass that test, but you have to believe in yourself. All right, let's move now from rising to moon. And moon, there's a lot of changes going on, but look at how she's peaceful, kind of, with the tower. You could look at it from two perspectives. One is that she's actually saying, I'm done with this, and she's kind of creating the tower. And one is that she's holding on to something. But with it reversed, she's ready to let it go. So I'm looking at this as a necessary release, a little bit of nostalgia as you're letting go of something in your life, but an understanding that you're going to be better, foundationally speaking, when you let go of that old relationship, that old job, that old way of thinking. This is also a very empowered card, not always perceived that way, but it is. It's saying, I know what I want to change, and I'm going to change it. Or I see the change coming, and you know what? I'm not going to resist it. So be an active participant, an agent of change. Take the hand of death and rebirth and say, all right, let's do this together. Show me what the path is. I'm not afraid. You're looking into the unknown, and you're seeing possibility instead of fear or doubt or uncertainty. And honestly, with respect to the cards, especially with the Wheel of Fortune in the past, it tells me that you're going to be just fine. You just have to take the wheel and drive a little bit. Same thing with the Chariot. They're asking for your sort of ability to lead. Lots of leadership energy coming through for you, Cancer, so I can't wait to see how each and every one of you decide to embrace that in the weeks to come. All right. We are now in the sort of final portions of the reading. In case you're brand new, let me talk a little bit about this next segment. We're going to be looking at a final card in just a few moments. So if there's any question that I didn't have a chance to answer, this is your moment where you can meditate on that. And then at the very end, I'll pull one final card. And in the meantime, what we're going to do is a meditation focusing on some form of healing today. Before I do that, one last chance here to subscribe. Please do that if you haven't already. You can give me a follow on social media as well. Thank you again. If you want to give back, you can do that before we begin the meditation. Let's take a look at the table, and then we'll start that meditation here. So releasing limitations, that can definitely be one piece of this. I think I want to help you heal the Five of Pentacles. And again, the traditional card for that is this one, basically being able to see your worth and being able to see help as it enters into your life. So close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, stretch for a second, maybe loosen your shoulder, you're letting go of any of the tension that you might be holding on your neck or your back, and then just relax your posture a bit. Close your eyes. Imagine that you are on a beautiful hill overlooking the sea, and it's nighttime. You actually can see the beautiful, brilliant stars above you. And this is a part of the earth where there aren't many sort of street lights or anything. You're just out on your own here with nature. And you can see the Milky Way above you, that arm of the Milky Way. And as you're looking out into space, at the stars, at the moon, at the galaxies, there's this understanding of the richness of this world, of how far it expands, how much there is out there, and how sometimes we put value in people or situations that really don't deserve that energy anymore. I want you to think into your life about something someone said that sat with you a little bit, maybe upset you, maybe a setback recently or in the deep past where you just felt like, I deserved that, or I wanted that, and it didn't happen. Or you're beating yourself up because you just wished, I could have, I should have, I would have done this differently. Whatever the regret or the upset is, just imagine that it's sitting in front of you, and it's something that you can hold, because it's kind of like a picture. Imagine that you're holding a picture, a snapshot from that moment. Look at how small it is. Imagine it's a very small snapshot that you can put in your wallet, or you've been holding it close to your heart. And now look at that and look at the vastness of time and space. And look at the picture again until it shrinks. Look at again the beautiful vastness of the Milky Way, of the Pleiades, of the moon, of all the planets and in time and space. And you start to realize this is nothing but a speck of sand. Keep seeing it minimize, and then when you're finally done with it, just blow that out into space and see it take a place in the stars. It's just a little speck of dust. And it's one of many points of light in your life. It illuminated something, it taught you something about yourself, but it doesn't define you. Instead, I want you to look at all of that rich energy around you and think, wow, there's so many blessings, there's so many mysteries, there's so many things yet to discover. Call to one of those stars and ask them to light the way to love or abundance or opportunity. And allow for that now to be your beacon. Just focus on the light connecting to you and imagine that there is almost like this roadmap in front of you. Just close your eyes and feel like I am being led. I see it. I trust it. Now I'm just going to relax and allow myself to move on that path. Okay? Relax as I play the singing bowl here and just allow for whatever other messages from Source or Spirit need to come through. All right? I'll be right back. Take another deep breath. Exhale. Imagine now that if you were to hold up your hand, you could receive a new star, one that you've been calling in, opportunity instead. You no longer are faced with regret, with fear, with anxiety. I want you to take this new star and place it into your heart space so that you can become the star, so that you can shine brightly, so that you can walk forward without feeling tethered, without feeling a sense of fear or anxiety in your life. When you're ready, I'd like you to open your eyes and focus now on your final question that you have for me, whatever that might be. And imagine that, again, things are going to be easier, okay? All right, just focus on that question. Let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle. Camera got moved a little bit, so let me move it back. There we go. And let's see what's coming through. And we have the Nine of Cups, which is a beautiful energy to come through. So Apollo's waking up in the background. Hey, buddy. With the Nine of Cups, this is an emphatic yes. So for those of you looking for a yes-no, this is a card of celebration, of achieving something that you've been looking forward to. For many of you, it can be happy tears. It can also be just tears in general, so you might be feeling a lot. So one message here is that we can't deny who we are and what we feel and what's going on. So allow the release to happen. It's okay. The one thing that we want to avoid with Nine of Cups is becoming beholden to or controlled by our emotions. So you know, this standing your ground is also saying ground yourself and make sure that you can see each and every situation as what it is, but not something that is all-encompassing. Your world is not defined by just that one thing. And I believe we pulled that card here for the big idea. So you are more than this situation. You can handle this, right? And I think that's the main message that I see with that. But definitely a card of celebration and of heightened emotional energy. So take care of yourself. Take special care of yourself now, and don't push yourself too hard. Okay? That, my friends, is the end of today's reading. I hope you enjoyed it. A reminder that I'm usually live on Mondays. I took Monday off this week just because we had a very busy Sunday reading. But usually I'm here every Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Plus I have the daily readings. Any change in schedule, again, will be announced on social media, so it's worth following me there. And of course here, so hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. All right, with that being said, thank you so much for being present today. Wishing you lots of love and light. From Apollo and I, lots and lots of love. I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Keep shining brightly. And remember, this looks like it's a really great month ahead. There's a little bit of revelation, but there's a lot of energy around growth, development, and remembering here again that what you seek is much closer than you think. So keep your eye on that. That's a really beautiful card and beautiful energy to attach to. All right, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.